From time as something to survive to the moment you have always been in. You are waiting for this to be over. Whatever this is, the difficult period, the transition, the situation that has not yet resolved, the gap between where you are and where you are trying to get to, the specific uncomfortable stretch of time that needs to be endured before the actual life, the post-waiting life, can begin. The waiting has a spatial metaphor embedded in it. You are in the wrong place and the right place is later. Time is the terrain between here and there. The task of waiting is to consume enough of it that you arrive at there. There is no there. There has never been a there. The there, when it arrived, became here, and was not it. The metaphor is false. There is no there. There is only here. Which is always now. Waiting requires a belief in temporal location. I am in time point A, and I need to reach time point B. The gap between A and B is the waiting. The gap must be endured, survived, gotten through. The content of the gap does not fully count as real life because the real life begins at B. But B, when it arrives, immediately becomes A, and C is now the destination. The waiting structure reproduces itself continuously. The post-waiting life you are waiting for will also be waiting for something. The waiting does not end at the destination. The destination becomes the new waiting room. Every moment of waiting has been spent in the only place where anything real has ever occurred. The present moment, not as a philosophical concept, is the only temporal location that exists. The past exists as memory, a present mental event. The future exists as anticipation, a present mental event. The present is not a mental event. The present is what the mental events are occurring in. You have been waiting your entire life for something to arrive. What arrived instead was this. Every time. This was always what arrived. This was always all that was arriving. The numbers on the oxygen monitor tracking the breath, measuring the gap between now and not yet the end. The man sitting in the chair beside the hospital bed, holding the foot through the blanket, watching the numbers. The specific quality of that waiting, not waiting for something good to arrive, waiting with someone he loves through something that will arrive whether or not he can bear it. The waiting and the presence were the same thing. There was nowhere else to be. No later that was more real. Only the chair, the numbers, the foot, the blanket, the breathing. This is the waiting that knows it is always this. The moment you are waiting to arrive. Look at what you are standing in right now. This is it. It has always been it. Every waiting has been this. Get through the waiting faster. The waiting has a pace that does not respond to urgency. The difficult period does not shorten because you wish it shorter. Time moves at the speed of time. Impatience with the waiting adds another layer of suffering to the waiting without changing the waiting's duration. Fill the waiting with activity, distraction, the manufacture of smaller goals within the larger pause. Real, useful, does not end the waiting. Produces a waiting that is occupied rather than empty. Both are waiting. The occupied waiting feels less like waiting, which means you are waiting without noticing. The waiting is still happening. Accept that this is the life, not the gap before the life. The acceptance is a mental act. The body still experiences the period as interstitial. The sense of not quite yet persists alongside the acceptance. 3 exits, 3 sealed doors. In one frame, the difficult period, the specific uncomfortable texture of this stretch of time, the sense that the real life is elsewhere, later contingent on something resolving, real, present, consuming the days. In the other frame, the cremation ground, the 12 sisters eating future, the specific future you are waiting for, eating it the same way they eat everything, with the same methodical appetite. They are eating the resolution before it arrives. They are eating the life you will live when this is over. Nothing is exempt from their hunger. The post-waiting life, already ash. The waiting life, already ash. Both frames are true. The chair, the numbers, the blanket, the breathing, both the waiting and the cremation ground at once. Taittiriya Upanishad, the 5 koshas, sheaths that wrap the Atman, the physical body, the vital body, the mental body, the intellective body, the bliss body, each one a layer, underneath all of them, the Atman, the self, which is not a sheath and is not wrapped by sheaths. The waiting is happening in the mental sheath, the layer of concept and narrative. The narrative says, you are in the gap, and the gap must be consumed before the real can arrive. The Atman is not in the gap. The Atman is not in the sheaths. The Atman is what the sheaths are appearing in, including the waiting, including the gap, including the specific quality of this difficult period that needs to be survived. The real moment is not coming. It is here. It has always been here. You have been waiting in it. The Atman is not waiting. It is present. In every waiting moment, not later. Here. Now. Which is all there has ever been.